Welcome, dogs. Get your goggles, get your tightest like a price suit, put on those compression socks. Why be good at one sport if you can be shit at three? This is the Triathlon Mockery podcast. Welcome back, my dogs, to a new episode brought to you by Ironman Tommy Boy and Half a Challenge Man, Jody Skipper. Currently already in June. Jody, how's it going?
Mate, this weather flipping sucks for June, doesn't it?
It's crazy.
I went for a ride earlier this week and I was actually in winter kit, what I would normally wear in like February, March to go out for a bike ride. Before I went to the challenge race, we had some like lovely weather. It was 21, 22 degrees, really nice, sunny. I thought, yes, summer's here. Come back, and it's turned. It's dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Mate, it's flipping nuts. I've literally, if I look at the weather now for a week's forecast, I mean,
I looked today. It's depressing, isn't it?
Although
Fucking
for
depressing.
a change, it's not going to be rain and wind. It's going to be cloudy and sunny. It's still only 14 to 17 degrees. Nuts. Absolutely nuts for June.
Same here. It's what you'd expect in March, isn't it? Maybe April at a push, but not June. Like, I mean, where the flipping heck is summer? I'm so pleased that I'm off in 3 days to actually get some nice weather.
Yeah.
What are your highs and lows then? You can go first this week.
Hi. I'm thinking, I went to a concert with my dad and my brothers. That was definitely high. And it was...
Was it Christian singing?
No, it was it was something like an Austrian band, you know, like some sort of like
The Sound of Music,
like some sort of yodel music.
Would it be like the Sound of Music, where they're like jumping around in the hills and stuff like that? You know,
more like some sort of Oktoberfest kind of atmosphere.
Not like your music that you play sometimes to get pumped up, where it's like proper ringing in your ears.
No, definitely not. And I've been trying to get back into the swing of things training wise, but I must say, oof, mate, my body took a battering at Lanzarote.
How long ago was that? Is it coming up to 2 weeks? It's about 9 days now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks now, a bit more than 2 weeks.
Oh, is it 2 weeks now since Lanzarote?
Yeah.
And you feel like you've had a battering?
Yeah.
Are you feeling all right now though? Like you're starting to feel like you're back to it?
Well, not really, because I must say last week from Thursday onwards, I actually felt all right. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I would say I was creeping back into the K-hole on Sunday, Saturday, today. So this morning I did a swim. Off, mate, it was that wasn't a beauty.
How far was the swim and what did you have to do in it?
2.6 Ks, just some 150s, but I just felt...
Was it by yourself or with someone?
I was with one dude, and he's a good swimmer. Fernando. Yeah, he's a good swimmer. Like, I would say he swims quicker than you, maybe. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he'd have to be a good swimmer.
Yeah. No, but I would say up and around the same. No, he's a good swimmer. But I just felt in the K-hole-ish. What about you? Have you got any highs and lows?
Mate, I had a beast of a session on Friday. I was actually looking forward to it. So I had one on Tuesday, swim session that was 30-50s. I think I mentioned to you that I've had a breakthrough in my technique on the last one, didn't I? So I've been swimming like a couple of seconds 100 faster than what I had. So I was like looking forward to it. So I did the session on Tuesday, 30-50s of 60 seconds. And Billy had put target pace 36, 37 seconds. I thought, that's not bad. I said to him, I reckon I'll definitely be able to do that. That seemed a bit hard, a bit easy. Like, how hard should it feel? He said about 9 out of 10. So I was like, all right, well, I think at least 35 seconds would be a good point. Anyway, did it, averaged 33/34 seconds for him. So then I'm thinking, all right. And I could see the whole week's training on there. And on Friday, the session was 18 times 100s off 140, best pace that you can hold. So basically, it's like max effort, isn't it? You know, like you just try and hold the highest pace you can average for the session.
Yeah.
So normally you'd be thinking, no. But I was actually looking forward to it because I felt like I'd had a breakthrough. So I was thinking, I wonder what I can hold. So I was like thinking this will be a good little tester. I did it. And before I did it, I thought if I haven't improved, I'll be holding 113s probably for it. And anything better than that is probably the result of like technical changes, because you can't just improve that much in 1 week, can you?
Mm-hmm.
10 days. Anyway, I did it, and I ended up holding 111's average, and even getting down to 110's for the last few. And it was so hard. Like, honestly, by the time we got to like 10 or 11 in, I was like on the limit. Like, the recovery was going so quick. I had that electric clock. Have you seen the clock what I've got? What counts down for your times?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that. So it was all programmed in. So I could see exactly what rep I was in, because I was like, I'm definitely going to lose count if I'm like
So
flat
you were
out. Just
saying
concentrate.
8 by 100, right?
18.
18 by 100. All right, 18 by 100.
Yeah. Best pace you can average.
And what was the
So it's
recovery
max
again?
effort. It was off 140. So
Well,
basically 30
the
seconds.
best you can hold is not a max effort. It's the best you can hold for 18 reps, right?
Yeah, so it's basically max effort then, isn't it? Because you're trying to hold the highest pace you can, like the best pace.
And say the rest again. I'm trying to think.
So the rest is 30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right.
Well, just under. It was off a 140 turnaround. So
Yeah.
if you swim 1 minute 20, you get 20 seconds. If you swim 110, you get 30 seconds.
Yeah. And were you stoked with the set? Were you pleased?
Yeah, I was absolutely on the limit. I said to him, I couldn't have gone any faster. And I can't remember working that hard in a swim, a bike, or a run session for as long as I can remember. And I went for a run later on the day, a 10K run, and I could barely run 5 minute Ks. I think I averaged 4:58. Felt absolutely fucked, like nailed. Techno did it with me. He was in bed. He said he had to have a kip, because he sent me a message and said, while you were out running, I was sleeping. Josh did it with me as well. He was nailed and said that he was absolutely gone. And then I had a kip when I got back from the run. And then I was planning after that to do some efforts on the bike. And I went out on the bike and I felt so drained. I just did a steady ride. I didn't even bother trying to do an effort. I was like, there's no way it's happening. Like, honestly. And then the next morning, to make matters worse, we had a run session and with the club. And the main bit was 4 miles at half marathon pace, straight into 1 mile at 5K pace. Very hard to hold the 1 mile at 5K pace. So it's basically like finish it with a mile very hard at the end. I woke up and I still felt fucked from the swim. I feel like I lost a bit of my body, like my soul doing that set. Anyway,
so
I
deep
woke up in the morning.
into your cells to be able.
And I didn't feel that great when I woke up. Before the swim?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like coffee. I think I had 2 coffees and a Red Bull beforehand. I was like properly pumped. I was like looking forward to it. I was like, I'd been looking forward to it from the day before, like thinking I can't wait to like take this on, if I can smash it. So I was in the zone. I was really pleased with the times that I hit. Like that's probably one of my best ever.
What would you say? What was your breakthrough technique tip? So maybe give some techniques to give them to. You're the triathlon Terran of our show now for a minute. Take the
triathlon. Well, the thing is, I think when you go to a lot of these swim analysis people and swim people, they try and get you to swim the perfect stroke, what textbook swimming is with your technique, and they try and change your stroke to be like that. But a lot of people aren't capable of doing that. So originally, I knew what I was doing wrong, because I've seen the video analysis and people have pointed out and said it. But for me, so when I entered the water, my hand was going up a bit. So it was like acting as a brake. And obviously you want to try and get the catch as far in front of you, like reach out in front of you and get the catch as high as you can, don't you, with your hand?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, if you're not flexible enough to do that, Billy said basically, you're probably not flexible enough to do that. And also, you're probably not going to be strong enough to actually pull the water through if you catch it there. So you're best just going in deeper, spearing the water, and actually going in probably like, 6 to 12 inches in front in
Can you do
water.
it in front of the camera so people on YouTube can see it, and also I can see what you mean?
So instead of trying to catch the water up here, which ideally is where you want to, I go in like a spear, and I'm probably catching it like down here. So automatically your elbow's in a much higher position. You're in the catch phase and you're not acting as a brake. So by not even though I'm catching the water a bit lower, which isn't as good, I'm not using my hand as a brake, and I'm in a really good position to then catch the water and power through my lats. And I think I know that's what's made a massive difference. So it's not, you wouldn't probably advise someone necessarily to try and do that, because it's not as good a technique as if you can catch it at the top of the water. But if you're not capable of doing that, and that was the problem. I think I've been trying to do that before in the past, that it was pointless. I'm better just.
What he
He's
actually
worked with
said to
my
you
team.
is, Joe, we can't ever fix your stroke anymore to catch it at the
Well, no, he
start.
has fixed it.
We'll just
No, he
spear it.
actually.
We'll steer it. We'll
No, he
shortcut it.
thinks that. No, well, what he said was when he started coaching me, he said your techniques. He's seen me swim, and he thinks that my technique's decent, and that one of the reasons why he wanted to coach me was because he's seen me swim and he thinks it looks good, and that indicates that there's something that I'm doing in training that's not working. Because with my technique, if I was training doing the sessions that he would be giving me, I would be swimming a lot faster than what I was. And that was what he said to start off with. But the technique advice has obviously massively helped as well. But then the swimming's been a game changer as well. Like the swimming's a completely different level to what I was doing before. Like just miles better all round. So that's gonna. If I'd been doing that all winter, then I'd have probably been hitting like 68, 69s for that session. And that's probably I'm knocking on the door and making the front pack then.
All right, yeah, I fingers crossed, mate, for that.
I'm
Then
looking forward to Cairns because I think it's going to be a
you
lot
are
better
still going to
swimming.
race Cairns.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I'm flying in 3 days.
Fly-
Like every time I speak to you, you keep saying that, and I'm like, yeah,
'Cause you-
like it hasn't changed, mate. The flights are booked, the accommodation's sorted. Like I'm
you
not
are
backing out.
even now
Yeah,
still racing Cairns.
but anyway, I had a bit of drama on that run on Saturday morning, so I turned up to the session, and I like these Saturday sessions because it's always a bit of a burn up, especially when they're on this place called Marriott's. It's where me and you did that session before when you came to Norwich. You know that trail or that path where it's out and back. I think we saw
Yeah,
Techno run along there.
true.
So it was down there, and there was about 5 of us that are all like similar ability. So we started off. Techno came out as well, so he's got the tunes pumping for it, and then gradually, one by one, people were falling off a little bit, and then there was me. There was Luke Golden. He was like just ahead of me. There was a couple of others that were just behind me. We're getting to the game point, coming up to 6K in, and basically 6.4K is when you're meant to pick it up for the last mile on the way back. So I'm thinking, right, I'm about a second and a half down. Right, just pick it up, get ready to pick it up for the last mile, finish strong, and just fucking end it, just like, or send it, just get stuck in. One of them kind of sessions. I fucking love them. So anyway, there's the park run that goes on at the same time. Do you know what a park run is?
Yeah, like a local 5K.
Yeah, they had that. And the 5K comes out, and like part of the route, what they do, they end up meeting us with about 2K to go. So just before we get to 6K on that, they join us, but they kind of come up towards us so they can see us. And then they do a horseshoe, and then they'd be joining us running back for about 600 meters, 800 meters, something like that. So we get towards the horseshoe. Luke goes straight through. Techno goes straight through. I see this guy, he's seen me, and I just shout anyway, whoa, 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 just to make sure he knows that I'm definitely there. He carries on going. I tried to move right even further to avoid him. Boom. Hit him, didn't I? Shoulder on. Bang. He ended up hitting a wooden bollard. Down he went on the floor, literally like he'd been knocked out by Tyson Fury, mate. Like he's laying there, and I'm thinking, "Fuck, what do I do? Like,
Because
do
you're
I
in the
carry
middle of
on?
your rep.
I'm in the middle, exactly. Yeah, that was a massive dilemma. What do I do? Do I just fucking leave him? I looked at him, and he's like seeing stars, and I'm thinking, shit. Like people here would know who I am. Like I can't just leave the guy on the floor. And I'm thinking, I'm in the middle. I was then about to pick it up. I was getting ready to fucking send it. 3 other people come past me. I'm like, you all right? You all right? He's not saying anything. People gather around him. His missus ends up coming over. And they're all like,
Did you already
everyone's
stop
kind
at the
of like,
time, or was this all happening in slow motion?
what's that?
Was this all happening in slow motion at this time, or were you still running? Did you already stop?
Well, no, I had to stop, didn't I? I had to stop. And I'm thinking, fuck's sake, I'm like right at the bloody business end of this run. Like, I mean, come on, get up, mate, get up. I want to carry on. Like, so he's laying there. And I'm like, you all right? You all right? He's not really saying anything. People are gathering around, and you can tell they think I'm an asshole for fucking wiping him out, even though they didn't really say anything. Because, like, I mean, like, my lip's fucked anyway. Like, I got a hematoma or something on it, like Laura said. Like, feels like I've been punched. Like, it's all swollen. But it was an accident. It wasn't my fault, but I, like, stopped just to see if he was all right. And he didn't really know what time of day it was once they got him up in the end.
Really?
Because they end up helping him up and then kind of like taking him over to a wall. And then once I kind of realised he was all right and there was nothing more that I could do, then I carried on. But yeah, that was like
But
80 kilos hitting you at 19 k's an hour probably.
so how can this? So was he running? So with his face towards your face?
He was running across me, so I would have hit
Across.
him side on.
Ah, right. All right. So he's running across you, and you were running. All right. So he came from your left, and you were thinking, all right,
Yeah.
this is gonna like collide.
Yeah, so I tried to run to the right because the others went through a bollard slightly to the left, and I shouted. I mean, it's not like you couldn't hear us. Like Techno had the flipping tunes absolutely pumping, like, and just gone through. And just before he runs to the left, he can see us coming towards him.
Yeah, but he was in the zone, mate. He was in the zone.
Yeah, he must have been. Yeah, I mean, evidently both of us were in the zone,
Yeah.
and like I felt like I mean, he probably had
But
experienced him. It was like
didn't you at a certain point thought like, no, the dude doesn't see me. He doesn't see me, and I'm about 1.5 meters
yeah,
away.
literally right when it was too late.
Yeah.
Right when it was too right when it was too late, and he got clattered, mate. It was like what? Who was that UFC fighter that fought Anthony Joshua?
I don't know.
Francis Ngannou. He was like it was like he'd taken a hit off Anthony Joshua, mate. The way he was laying on the floor, he was absolutely on his back, sparked out, was not getting up for the 8 count. That was it. That was all she wrote, mate. He was gone.
I met a
Couldn't
dude
believe it.
in.
I actually felt a bit worried for him. I thought, oh shit, what have I done now, Joe? This is going to be another court case you're going to have to find now. This guy's going to
I
be after you. He's going to be suing you.
I saw this dude, and he was shouting down in Lanzarote, shouting down at a bike shop, and I knew the owner. You know, that was Johan Wagenaar, the guy you rode with, who didn't turn right at the roundabout, and you went straight. You both fell
Oh
on the
yeah,
floor. So I went down to his bike shop in Lanzarote, and there was like this guy was shouting. I thought, like, where the hell is he from? So he was from Liverpool, right? And I got into a chat with him, but he said he was the nephew of Paddy the Baddy.
really?
Yeah,
Paddy the
and he
baddie.
came
You
down.
should do a little
Sorry,
collab with him, Tom, the lifestyle athlete. He likes to have a bit of a lifestyle. Then he, after his fights, goes out with a few drinks on the food and stuff.
Paddy. Yeah, he does. Yeah, I've got my little lifestyle weekender trip coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah, I'm leaving.
tell the listeners, what are you going to be doing? What does the lifestyle athlete do on a lifestyle camp?
All right, so this is a lifestyle camp for 3 days, so trash days, and leaving on Tuesday. So I'm doing a hard swim in the morning and probably a hard run. I mean, after the swim. Then I'm getting in the car, 7-hour drive to Montrachet. And that's basically the Bourgogne, the Burgundy area. So it's the best white wines in the world, baby. And then I've got 3 older men. One of them is my head sponsor, and
one of them's your boyfriend.
what?
One of them's your sugar daddy.
But we're
And the
going
other
for
one's your
we're going for a 3-day. So they want to do a 3-day cycling tour in combination with wines and food. So basically.
Basically, you're like a hoe that's getting pimped out on this like training camp, aren't you?
That's the less chic way to say it. No, but it's basically I'll just be doing some training, like 3 to 4 hour rides every day. I'm going out on my mountain bike, so if they're on road bikes, I still need to put in like a decent effort. And then I'm gonna do a run every day and just a swim, and the rest is.
That's a bit of a blow to your confidence, isn't it? Like I just imagine if I was on a training camp and I'm going with some guy. I'm on my road bike. I've got all the aero kit, got the fast wheels. He's on his fucking mountain bike, comes out on a camp, and I'm like, "Why you got your mountain bike?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to work a bit harder because I thought it'd be a bit easier." It's like, "Oh right,
I want to get some training stimulus.
how to say you're shit without saying I think you're shit. Like, I didn't even bother taking my road.
They're
bike.
just a lot heavier, so on the climbs you can just I don't know.
Sorry, I just didn't think you'd be able to push me, mate. So I wanted to take my mountain bike. All right. Thanks, mate. You didn't need to destroy my confidence, but yeah, I get it.
But that's a 4-day trip. So I'm coming back Saturday morning really early. And then my girlfriend is turning 30, so she's got a big party coming up. And
What's the party then for that?
over at the parents, so that's in the south of the Netherlands, and she's inviting 40 of her friends. So it's like 20 friends of her, including their partners. So and a DJ, food, barbecue. I don't know, the whole shebang. We're going for it. It's like a mini. So I'm trying to ride Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like 3 hours a day on the mountain bike, and then like 2 hard runs off the bike or something. So I'll have some decent training there.
What about you swimming? Where's Fernando and all this?
I've swam
He's going to
today.
be
I'll
gutted.
swim tomorrow, and I'll swim once in France, and then I'll do a swim on Sunday or something.
That's all the lifestyle athlete needs, isn't it?
It's all you need.
It's all about the
I
bike
did
and the
only
run.
3 swims for Lanzarote, 56. There you go.
What would you need to do to get down to 54?
I think I can
54
swim
flat.
54. The pack I was in was too easy, mate. It was too easy. So I think I can swim 54. But all I need is 3 decent swims in the pool and 1 open water session.
And that's it.
That's it.
And then are you in for Swansea 70.3? You've had an offer of accommodation come up your way. I didn't realise that I'd actually got the date wrong last week when I said it was the 7th. It's actually the 14th. And Grufford Lewis, I think, have you met him before? Did you meet him when you went to ride with like Christian's team for sub-7?
Yeah.
Says you can stay in his camper van with him.
So the 2 of us in his camper van.
I didn't get the invite. I'm guessing mine's lost in the post because he knew that I was doing the race. And I told you on the phone, didn't I? Oh, yeah, he says that. And you're like, are you staying in the camper van as well then, Joe? And I'm like, no, he never invited me, mate.
Yeah,
he
but
just invited you.
he probably
I
first
never
of all
got the
knows.
invite.
He first of all knows that I know all the camping tips and tricks. And
Yeah.
you slacked the camping in the beginning. You said, no, camping.
I did, yeah.
It's nice.
It's come back to bite me now. I'm just going to have to sleep in a tent while you guys are like in the actual camper van. You've got shelter from the elements, and I'll just be on the camp on the hard floor, just nailing myself before the race. But I think when he realizes how much granola and yogurt you eat and that you go through all his supplies, he's going to be like, Jesus, I didn't realize I'd committed to this.
But
this guy's eating me
I
out of
am
house and home.
I am contemplating to do 10B, but like I said, I would not need to drive to you. Fly
MB's
to
not
you.
got a pro field though, has it?
No? Which one is this? What is it called again?
Swansea.
Well, that's the one. Swansea.
Oh, right.
I would need to fly to Norwich, and you would be needing to take me there.
Yeah, I'll check and see if Laura and Arabella are coming, and might well have room for you.
Yeah, because if they're coming, then I would need to sort something different out. But anyway, yeah, it's an option. It is an option. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the so that's the Burgundy trip, and then so it's only 3 days, and then after Monday, back into hard training. But then the first race actually is the Xterra, the Olympic distance, the 7th of July. But I want to do a half distance before that, maybe.
Before it,
But yeah, or an Olympic distance, Olympic or half, something like that.
you need to get entered, don't you? Because like loads of them are like closing up.
Yeah.
Because I saw there was a good race 2 weeks after Cairns that I wanted to do in France.
Which one?
And it I can't remember what it was called now, but basically the closing date, the Ironman shut it early, and it shut about 2-3 weeks ago.
Do you know what I'm thinking? So looking at all the race fields, it's absolutely nuts. They're closing the races early because all the men fields are running out, right?
Yeah.
They're too big. So I am thinking, literally, when I came racing in 2018 as an amateur, all the pro race fields always had something like 18 to 20 pros. And even when we started racing in like after COVID, when I had my pro license, the fields were like 20 to 25. But all of a sudden, you have these pro fields, like 60
I'd say
people.
up to 40. I'd say there was quite often up to 40 people. Like when we did Texas, there must have been about 40 people in that Texas 70.3 that we did.
Well, I don't know. But nowadays, it's like up to 60. And the top 20,
80,
everyone's...
mate. 80 in Valencia, 80 in Oceanside for the men.
Well, there you go. Up to 80. And I would say the whole top 20 runs around 111. So I'm thinking, if it's all of a sudden like... people have been into like they had an army of athletes that were doped up into the mountains for like 4 years, and they unleashed them last year. And all of a sudden, there's like 100 or 1,000 extra pros who all run like 111, swim front pack, bike pretty hard. Don't you think? Like the level has gone up like absolutely crazy again.
I think there's definitely more people on the start lines, like which has made it go crazy. But I mean, I don't think there's that many people
What
running
if
genuine run 11s.
what if Colin Chartier was the head of a facility somewhere in the secret mountains in Sierra Nevada, where they would have 50 Swiss, 50 Russian athletes, or whatever, just a shitload of athletes on a program for like 4 years, and now they're finally being unleashed, and that's why all the pro fields are full.
Yeah. Have you seen, by the way, what Colin's up to nowadays?
No, no. What was he doing? I deleted him.
He's a real estate agent now in Denver, Colorado. I saw him more in like a suit and that. He started selling houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you're
well,
looking for a pad mate in America, he's your man.
well, good on him.
Just ask, make sure they've got a big freezer and fridge where you can keep all your EPO and your vials and stuff like that, and then you're all.
It is funny though that he went on a massive winning streak in 2020. What was it? 2022, and then
Yeah, 2022.
supposedly all the prize money that he earned was gone. But he went on a massive sabbatical after he got caught using doping. Like I would say, he went on a trip for a year and a half. And now I would say finally the PTO money is out, and he started like
It couldn't have just been PTO money, surely. Like that, it can't get you a year and a half holiday going all around the world.
Mate, he was just traveling on a bike. It's not that expensive, I reckon.
Do you not reckon?
No, he was literally just riding his bike.
So how much money do you reckon you'd need then if you were doing that, like traveling around mainly on your bike, few flights and stuff like that? How much for a year if you were doing it for a year?
Was he still on the EPO plan, you reckon? Because that's gonna.
No, not on no EPO plan. That would be, but it would make sense to keep on the EPO plan for a bit longer because if you're hauling all that them panniers and everything up mountains at altitude, surely a little bit of extra assistance wouldn't go amiss, would it? Like,
No.
and it's not like it matters. Then you've already been caught. You might as well just make your life a bit easier.
No, but he was literally sleeping with dogs on the street. So I was thinking,
No, he wasn't sleeping with dogs, was he?
Yeah, I think he was. He looked a bit skanky for a while. But it's not that expensive. But anyway, what topic? We've got two topics to talk about for this week, haven't we?
What's the first one?
Well, one of them was a female pro signing up for races, letting her husband. So she's
apparently it's not her husband.
Okay.
It's her coach.
All right. So her coach. Apparently, this is a scoop, worldwide triathlon scoop for by Triathlon Mockery. So apparently, this female pro. So she's doing the swim, and the amateurs are starting. What is it, like 10 minutes behind her or something?
But something like that, yeah.
So she's doing the swim. She's starting off with the bike, and then the coach, who's a good swimmer and a fast biker, does his swim and then bikes up to her, and then paces her for the rest of the 180k at non-legal drafting distance. And that's how she ended up on the podium multiple times.
No, but wasn't she drafting distance behind him? So that's the thing. They weren't actually doing anything illegal because he was actually keeping like the right distance, I think.
Yeah, but we all know that's Pinocchio style. If you're doing,
so you think that she was actually
if you're using your coach to draft, then you're also the kind of type that would take 6 meters instead of 12.
So do you think that's what they were doing? They were taking 6 meters instead of 12.
Well, I don't know, but it's cheating. Anyway.
His argument is, I wasn't doing it, and then it's like, okay, you just happen to lose 15 minutes at the start of the bike and then ride the same speed for the next 160k. It's like, yeah, but at least admit it. Do you know what I mean? Like that you were doing it, but going by the rules, if like say that they were keeping 10 to 12 meters, they're not actually doing anything wrong, are they?
Yeah, but I think they are, because
in the spirit of the racing, it's wrong.
In the spirit of the racing, because the women pro field is a different division than the age group men field. And top age group men nowadays are pros. I mean, look at Hamburg. 3 age groupers went sub 8. You can't tell me that you're an amateur. You know, they're all sponsored. Yeah. They're doing this probably around 20 hours a week. You are a pro. So
that's exactly what I think for some of these age groupers.
We can talk about that in a bit. But if you're pacing a female pro woman on the bike, just riding in front of her, so she becomes faster, that's cheating. It's another division, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but would you say that shows that Ironman need to do something about it? Because it's almost like they're they're making a point. Like,
I don't
if
think
you're
they're
not going to
allowed
do
to.
anything
I don't
about your,
think women pro athletes are allowed to draft off male athletes.
but then surely Ironman needs to make sure the start times don't allow that. Then,
Yeah, but well, I don't know about that, but I just
like, I
think
think it's totally wrong in the spirit of the sport. But you could say, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know,
that
like
is
if
true.
Ironman are going to
That
allow
is
it,
true. But in
Ironman needs to sort it out.
this case, they went on doing that for more than 3 years in a row.
3 years.
Yeah, because I've seen race results of the past where it happened as well. Well, at least someone sent them over to me.
I need to
Um,
hire him for my pacemaking. Then, like, I
but
could
I
do with
think
that. Can you
it's
just?
crazy because there are other women out there battling, racing their own race, while she's being pulled along by some dodgy coach that apparently, well, if he allows that, he's also on testosterone and growth hormone.
Well,
Very
I think it
likely.
is totally wrong. He shouldn't be allowed. He
Very,
shouldn't
very
be allowed
likely.
to do it. He shouldn't be allowed to do it. And Iron Man should sort it out, so it's impossible to do with the timings. But if I was a female pro and I was in the same race and that was happening, I'd be fuming. But I did see a little statement he posted up. He's deleted it now, saying that he wasn't doing it, and it was just by chance, which is total bollocks. I mean, you might as well just own it. At least you've been caught, just own it that you were doing it and whatever. But this guy, I don't know if you remember, but he's actually the one that tried to cancel us on the
That
podcast.
dude?
Yeah,
Well, fuck him then.
that was him. He was the one that was stirring it up. That's how I
Well,
lost.
can you
one of
imagine?
my
So
sponsors.
he's the kind of type that would. So he wrote to your sponsors. Is he the dude?
He said, "I'm never." When I did this, so first of all, when I was doing the 200 mile, and yours probably, like he was sharing all the posts, stirring it right up. But when I did that 200-mile ride during COVID, and he kicked off acting all whiter than white, COVID is going to wipe out the world population. I did a 200-mile ride, and he said, "I'm boycotting his sponsors. I'm never buying a pair of Hokas again. Hoka should drop it."
Well, I mean,
Oh, mate, calm down. I just did a long bike ride. No worries, mate. If I've got COVID, I wouldn't have been able to ride 200 miles if it's that. And if I had COVID and I could ride 200 miles, don't fucking worry. It ain't going to kill you. Like,
but apart from that, so he's that kind of type, and he's a coach, and he's pacing his own flipping female pro athletes to get a result is flipping sad. It's absolutely sad because if he were a real coach, he would stand on the side of the road and telling her splits and telling her what position
yeah.
he's in. But instead, he's like, I wrote the plan. I don't really trust the plan. I'm going to write it in front of her. So I am sure that she's going to ride hard because I can push her a little bit. He hasn't even got faith in his own plan. He's a shit coach.
And I did ask him if he wanted to come on the podcast so we could talk to him about it. So I did ask
Yeah?
him, but he ignored the message. Yeah, but he ignored the message.
What did you say? What did you say?
I said, I've seen what happened. Do you want to do you want to come on and say your point of the story, what happened, and stuff like that, and he just completely blanked me.
Wow.
So what can you do? You give people a chance to defend themselves, to get their point across. Would have been a world exclusive with the Ironman cheating coach.
But who was
no,
it? Who was the cheating coach? I don't even know who did this.
Tom Ward, Passion Fit.
All right, Tommy Ward. Well, Tommy Ward, listen up. You're a grown man.
Mate, watch out! Don't get us cancelled by him again.
No, but
he's going to be coming for us now, mate.
Tommy Ward, listen up. You're a grown man. You're coaching professionals. You should be a professional. So don't start cheating the woman professional field. If you're doing an Ironman, do it for yourself. Same to be your like the Ironman slogan. Anything is possible. It is also with non-outside assistance. Thank you very much.
And I'd just like to say, if I lose any sponsors after this, it was great while I had you all. I really appreciate all the time you invested in me and everything. And I'm sorry that Tom Ward didn't like what I said, but it was great while it lasted.
At least at least we keep people honest. Anyway, let's head over to the next subject. What was that again?
That was about prize money in races. It's great that they do equal prize money in triathlon, so male and female get equal prize money. But should it be equal? That's what we had a bit of a discussion about, because I'm all for paying equal prize money, and when there's an equal field. So, for instance, like tennis, which wasn't equal for years, then they made it equal because the same amount of men, the same amount of women compete. So absolutely it should be equal. But in triathlon, does there need to be something done and it weighted in a slightly different way with how many people you get participating in the race? So, for instance, if you had 40 women
Hmm.
and 20 men, then it should be a 2/3 split. 2/3 of the prize money goes to women, 1/3 goes to men, because there's double the amount of women in the field that you're competing against. And maybe you would do it by how many people start, not how many people are on a start list, because obviously loads of people could just enter on start lists and then not turn up. So it'd be the weighting. You'd know a race would say 100K prize money race, but if 60% of the field is women, women get six that start, women get 60% of the prize money. If 40% is men, 40% goes to the men, and obviously vice versa. Because I just find it a bit unfair in a way to some of the races when you have 70 or 80 men on the start list and 20 women, and prize money goes down to the same point. And in the men's field, you've got to beat 60 or 70 people just to get the bottom prize money position. So in the women's, you've got to beat 10 to 15 people. And I feel like it's not really helping the sport grow because there's so many decent athletes that are unable to get in the prize money, and that it's like you're trying to be fair, but in terms of trying to be fair, you're not being fair because there's not the same depth in both sexes. And I know people are going to try and cancel me for this and say I'm sexist. It's not being sexist. It's just looking at it from a statistical point of view that there's far more men that compete than women. And also, it would be if it was the other way around, I'd say the same thing. If there was far more women that
So,
compete, I'd say that.
Jody the misogynist. No, no,
No,
listen.
I'm just looking at it
No,
from a
no, no,
numbers
hundred
point of view.
percent. No, but
There's more women. I know I'm going to get cancelled for saying it though. That's the thing. Like, I've spoken to a lot of people. And
let's go back to the Tom Ward
with
subject.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Nee, I share a bit the same opinion, but can you punish women athletes for not
But
having
you're
a big
not
field?
punishing them. No, but you're not punishing them because if more women take part, then the women
But
will get more prize money.
should Ironman then maybe can 50% of the races, so the other races will be a bit more stacked?
Well, no, because I think the races are already stacked enough with the men.
No, I mean for the women.
Or,
So for the women fields.
I mean, I think you either cap the amount of people that compete in them so they're the same, or you, to be honest, like you just put. To be honest, I just feel like you need to do some. You either cap it so there's 20 or 30 people or whatever, an amount where that fills up, or you really kind of distribute it a bit differently. I mean, like it just seems.
So would
that the
you then
distribution is
say
quite out.
there's 100 grand prize purse for a race, and so there are, for example, 60 male and 60 men, 40 women competing. That 40% of the prize purse goes to the women, but then that first, second, third, and fourth prize, like what they earn, is the same. But then the men maybe would get paid deeper, so until 12th, whereas in the women
I
maybe
mean,
top till
it doesn't
fifth
really
or
matter
something.
what they do. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter how they distribute it like that. They could do it in any other way. But I just feel like it definitely needs to go deeper to account for the amount of extra people that you've got to beat to get in the prize money positions.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like it's fair enough for the PTO races, you keep it equal because there's only 20 men and there's 20 women.
yeah,
So it's exactly the same.
yeah.
But in races where there's quadruple the amount of males, I mean, come on, you're trying to be fair, but by trying to be fair, you're not being fair
And
because
it's also
in
there's
any
a lot of races. I'm not talking the occasional one, but a lot of races where um, the Ironman or Challenge or whatever pays deeper than the amount of women competing. Has
yeah,
happened
I've seen that loads
multiple times.
and
Yeah.
never ever seen it with the men. And if you look through the fields, quite often you'll have at least double the amount of men, and it can be as much as quadruple the amount of men competing in races. And it's not the same. It's not the same. You've got
No.
80 men, the prize money goes down to 6 or 8. So you've got to beat 72 to 74. It's
But
not the same as doing a race where there's
one thing
25 people and you beat 20.
what you can't do is, for example, say, all right, first male winner would get 10 grand and first female winner would get 4 grand. With the distribution of the money, that should be equal. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth place.
Well, whatever, yeah, they can do it equal. I'm not bothered about that. But also, if you look at the ITU racing, I think that's fair enough that it's equal because they generally have, all like when they do WTCS races, all the spots get taken. So that makes total sense because the same amount of men, same amount of women are competing. Same in when they do the World Cups and they do the European Cups. A lot of the
Yeah.
problems happen in the challenge races and Ironman races. PTO races 2020, exactly the same, should be exactly the same. I'm not arguing for that. I'm saying in races where there's a massive skew to the amount of men or females competing, the prize money distribution should be changed depending on how many people start. The pot for the race was like 100K, and they would have a rough idea of how many people are on the start list and roughly what it would be.
Hmm.
But then after the registration, the briefing when everyone signs on, they could then email out what the distribution of prize money would be before the start of the race, because then they know how many people are signed on and were at the briefing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after the briefing is when it should be done, because obviously you can't do it for how many people enter the race, because you could get 20 people that enter that don't turn up. So you can't take that into account. It has to be how many people are at the race venue. And obviously if they've gone to the briefing, they had the intention to
Yeah.
turn up. If they don't end up starting, it was just because they were ill or something, wasn't it?
That is true. That is true.
That is going to cause a lot of controversy, though. That I think,
I mean, as long as you say it from a standpoint of, yeah, I don't know. Enough said about it.
but it's that's just what I think. I mean, other people might not agree. I mean, they're entitled to not agree. But I just think when you look at it like that, it should be changed a bit. Um,
Yeah, it is not sometimes. It is not sometimes, definitely. But the world is a crazy place. I mean, if you look in the porn industry, um, women are getting paid maybe 10 times as much as men.
exactly. And no one campaigns for a male, do they, to get more?
No, but same in like the corporate industry. Well, it is not very common anymore in the Netherlands that, for example, a male would earn more money than a female for the same job. That's
But you
not
probably
really
don't know,
common.
though, do you? Because it's all under wraps, isn't it? You can never really find out how much people get, can you?
Yeah, equality. Anyway, have we got a bullshit buster?
Um, no, I haven't really got a bullshit buster of you.
I don't know. I was thinking last week maybe the Norwegian method.
You're going to bullshit bust the Norwegian method, are you?
Where they at? Where
God.
they at?
Well, the method only works apparently in odd years. So 2021, 2023, it's an even year. So everyone knows who follows the Norwegian method that it won't work on 2024 and 2022, but it will work again next year. It's just an even year. That's what happens to it.
No, have you got a bullshit buster?
Just talk about the Norwegian method then. So, what would you say about it then? Because you've obviously been thinking about it.
Now, well, obviously, the athletes
It's just not.
they have are flipping awesome and flipping great, but I do think that the coaches sometimes pretend that they're the smartest in the world, and all the coaches have no clue what's going on, and they're measuring poo and everything to be the best, the best, the best in the world. But I think since a bit more than a year, the results yet have been lacking.
But wouldn't you say as well, if the coaches are the best in the world and they know absolutely everything, and they say that, like he said numerous times, that Christian and Gustav are the best in the world, they're the best athletes, they've got the massive capacities and everything. How come they're not winning everything then?
Well,
What's lacking?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think
Is it the
that,
athletes? Is it the coaches? What do you reckon?
yeah, it's just hard to say
If
because
you had to.
you don't have insights about it. But I do think that an athlete like Christian or Gustav can be a world champion also under different coaches.
Do you think if you were coaching Christian now, because you've been coaching for a while, haven't you? Do
Yeah.
you think you'd do a better job and you could get him? If you were coaching Gustav and Christian, they came to you at the end of 2023 and said, fuck Olav, we've had enough of him. Like, the trainer's boring, want to change. And they said, we've seen what you've done with your athletes. Coach us to gold medals and to
First,
Olympics. Do you think you could do a better job?
first I would do a little stress test with them to see like if they're relaxed, if they need a little holiday, or because if they're too stressed with the goals, they can't perform. You know.
So what would you do if you were asking Christian about it and stuff, and you said, "Oh, like what do you do for fun?" And he says, "I just train. I don't want fun." And you said, "Oh, do you have a girlfriend?" He said, "A girlfriend? A night with a woman is a day lost in training." No, absolutely not. Like, like I'm Christian. Like, pretend I'm Christian. I'm saying all this to you. And
I
I'm
would
like, fuck
say,
that. No,
all
I just
right,
want to train.
instead of like a Sierra Nevada training camp, we're going on a mindful retreat, and that retreat isn't like a yoga thing, but it's more like it would be a lifestyle athlete camp, and it would
How
be
many days? Because he'd be getting
in
anxious,
the
mate, when you
off
mentioned that.
season, 4 days, just 4 days.
4 days. He'd be getting anxious, mate, that he's going to go 4 days without training. What do we do with our bikes? Where do we keep our bikes? Can we take a bike out there? Like, fuck,
You
man.
gotta
Like, 4 days
relax. You
for
gotta
him, it's gonna be like
relax.
a lifetime. He ain't gonna relax, mate. It's like you've taken a greyhound, like a
I
horse
do
out the
think that,
stable.
athletes like Olaf and athletes like Christian and Gustav can be world champions under different coaches as well.
Yeah. So, do you
100%.
think, with the results that they've had now this year, that you probably would have been able to do a better job than Olaf? Do you reckon?
100%, Joe.
No, but honestly,
No, no,
honestly,
no.
what do you reckon? I mean, you probably wouldn't have done much. You probably wouldn't have done any worse, would you?
You wouldn't have done any worse because Gustav really hasn't been racing apart from Mallorca, and
And
Christian has
Christian, see,
done the
Gustav, you
World
could say
Cups.
you don't know whether or not you'd have done any worse or any better because he's only raced once and he had a mechanical, so you can't really comment on that. You don't know.
Yeah.
So, but with Christian and the results that he's had, bearing in mind he was the Olympic champion and stuff, if you got him close to the ability that he was in 2021, you're going to have done a better job than what he's at now. So it would be whether or not you can get him back to the form he had in 2021 over the short course distance as to whether or not you could do a better job.
Yeah, I would say no,
If
because
that was
I do
you, what
think
would you do then? You would have taken him on his mindful retreat. He comes back. He's absolutely buzzing. He's dying to get back in training. So then, what do you do? Would you kind of training camps would you have gone on with him? Would you have gone to Sierra Nevada at altitude, seeing yourself off in the world, or would you have gone to more warm weather
I would
and
have
then
gone
gone
with
for?
some more warm weather, mate. Gran Canaria or I think what Font Romeu, but they always go to Font Romeu, is great for training.
But it's too cold there, so they
But,
couldn't have gone there yet. They haven't been there yet as well because it's been too cold. So you'd have taken them to
well,
Gran
it's not too
Canaria,
cold
would
for
you?
them. It's not too cold for them. They go to Sierra Nevada in the winter.
Yeah, yeah. But Sierra Nevada in
Like,
the
they
winter
don't
is
care about the
a
weather,
bit
mate.
better than.
I could literally take them to the Arctic, to the North Pole. They'd be like, "All right, get me a Wahoo kicker and a bike."
If you
And
told them it's going to give you an extra 5 watts on your threshold, they would sign up for 6 months in the
they'll come
Arctic.
along. No, but for me, that's too high maintenance. As in, there is literally no room for. So for example, an age group athletes, they also need a little bit of psychological coaching. That's actually where you pay most for a coach. So it's not necessarily just a plan, but
But
it's
don't you
more
think
like,
a pro needs that as well, though? Because loads of pros doubt themselves, don't they?
well, they do
When
doubt
you get
themselves, so they need like a bit of a confidence boost, but not really psychological coaching, because they haven't got a shitload of them haven't really got anything going on. They've just got the training, and they don't have like a job, a family, or uncertainties, or tires that they need to buy or whatever. So I do think that part is way bigger with amateur athletes than with
do
pros.
you? I would have thought it would have been bigger with the pros though, because you've got to get them in the right mindset. You've got to like motivate them. They've
You've
got
worked with the coach in the past. Did you call him for mental breakdowns? I've never had a chat with a coach about that.
No, I didn't. Like, why do you have a lot of that with like some amateurs then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but they're
So
doing the first Ironman and really contemplating whether that they're getting nervous. Can I complete it? Am I going to make the swim? What I'm going to do? Just a lot of uncertainties. Or I've got a wedding this weekend, 3 days. I can't swim, bike, run for 4 days. I've got a race in 2 weeks.
what do you mean you can't swim for 4 days? Get to that fucking pool.
Yeah. No, but it's all stuff like that.
But so what do you think would have been the issues if you were coaching Christian Blumenfeld that would have been the most time consuming aspect of your coaching relationship
taking
with
fucking
him?
lactate strips.
Yeah, but if you're not there, so you think that would be like the biggest ball ache for you, would be like just
Yeah.
fucking lactate after lactate.
Yeah.
You'd just be fed up with it.
Being there.
But what, other than taking the lactate strips, what do you think? Would it be
I don't know. I
putting
think
time in?
I do not think knowing Christian, I think he would just take every training off. always. I don't think he's that high
So you think
maintenance.
so? You would say that it would be more the biggest time consuming bit would be picking the sessions for him because you think mentally he'd be fine. He'd just crack on and do it, and you wouldn't hear anything.
Not even, I think going the extra leap and taking the leap and calculate what's in his poo and all that. I think that's the
If you
biggest.
were with him on training, would you be driving on training camps? Would you be driving the car with him while he's going up the climbs
No,
and
I
stuff
would,
like that?
ride in front of him so he can like sit in my wheel and get like a bit of a boost to push
Maybe
himself.
Tom Ward's the guy for the
I
job.
would be,
Maybe we
I
should
would
get
be his Tom
if
Ward,
Tom Ward's a good swimmer that he could swim up to the female pros as well. Maybe we need to Christian needs to get him a Norwegian passport and sign him up to get him into the Olympics. He's got a super domestique who will literally he's proved himself when there's nothing on the line. You tell him he could help try and retain a gold medal at the Olympics. He's going to be chomping your fucking arm off for it, mate.
I
And he'll
would,
do it for free.
I would like to see him do well at the Olympics.
So, Christian, if you're listening, contact Tom, mate, and he's ready to take you to the next level in your pursuit for Olympic gold.
Well, whenever you get Olympic gold, contact me after the race for a bit of the recovery. Because I think the to regain mental freshness in order to be fit for the 2025 season or a late Ironman like Kona 2024,
Do you
you
think
need to have.
The Dutch Federation could do with you, because they've not really got any young like short course athletes come through, have they?
Well, the relay team just qualified for the Olympics literally 2 weeks ago for the last
Yeah, I
qualifying
think
race.
so, mate. Qualifying for it, they got to win it yet. I mean,
they came in fourth or third at the relay at the last Olympics. I think
right.
third, maybe even second. I don't even know.
Did they?
Yeah. Don't underestimate the Dutch, mate. Like, we're coming for you. Yuri Kulen, Menno Koolhaas. You're racing Tristan Olij in Cairns. Els Visser. Like, the Dutchies are on the rise, mate.
Scary.
You're
scaring me. I'm going to be,
and I'm not on that
ringing
boat.
Billy up and crying on his shoulder, mate, about the nerves I've got now going into the race.
But do you reckon? So Tristan Olij, he's a Dutch athlete, and he came in fourth or third. No, third. I don't even know at that ITU long distance in Ibiza. You had a shocker that day, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were quiet for a bit. But he's taking you on in Cairns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you asking then?
Do you reckon you can take him?
I don't know, mate. It all depends on the day. I never underestimate my rivals. Like, when I've gone races and there's meant to
It's
be an
true.
easy win,
I know.
it's when I've been beaten.
Yeah.
When you underestimate the people you're up against is when you fall short. You got to give people that when you're up against them, you've got to give them the utmost respect, because when you don't, when you do underestimate people, that's when you fall apart.
Yeah.
So I think I could beat him, but I think he could beat me. You've just got to
Champions mindset.
I just hope that I'm on a great day. That's all I hope, because
what do you think? So
awesome
you're
day.
racing Sam Long as well. Sam Long is racing Ironman Cairns. I think his first Ironman in a bit like a year or something.
Yeah, he did one last year in September time.
What do you think about his 70.3 ROM form taken in for this race? Or his form over the 70.3 now for this?
His form over the 70.3s is unreal. He's probably the best in the world at the moment at that distance. But a lot of times, you've seen it as well with him, he's been in amazing form, but then hasn't performed to the same level in an Ironman, has he?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with him, it could go either way. He could absolutely smash it and do an incredible race and run something like 2:30 off the bike, or he could struggle a bit on the run. You just really don't know what you're going to get with him in the Ironman. I feel like,
has he ever had a superb Ironman?
I think if you asked him, he would say no. He hasn't had an Ironman where he's felt like he's raced to his ability and done the bike and the run, a really good bike and run combo. He's won some races.
He won Chattanooga years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he probably did a really good one there for where his fitness was at then. But I think in the last few years, he's not done an Ironman to the ability that he knows he can, looking at what he does in training, because some of his training sessions are flipping huge, aren't they? And then the racing that he does over the half distance, I mean, he won St. George by 8 minutes. He's not done a performance like that over the full distance, has he?
No.
But maybe he's just better suited to the half.
That's going to be a crazy race, Cairns. Is it going to be broadcasted?
Yeah, but it's going to be terrible time for back here. I think it starts at like 11 p.m. your time, so it's going to be all while you're asleep.
Oh, shoot. Alrighty. Anything else you want to say?
Don't cancel me. I didn't mean anything I said. It was all allegedly.
It was all sarcasm.
It was all sarcasm, not meant to be taken seriously. I'm sorry if I
We were
offended
very
anyone.
cynical.
Maybe listen to Pro Tri News if you don't want to get offended. And if you do listen to Pro Tri News, I'd highly recommend listening to it before you go to sleep, because it will put you to sleep in no time, and you'll be out with the fairies, and your Garmin will tell you that you've had a 90% sleep score, heart rate variability is back up and running. So yeah, listen to that if you want to have a great night's sleep.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. And we will be seeing you next week if we haven't been cancelled. Bye.